Hi guys, welcome back to Mr. Story Channel. In today's video, we will see some crazy family drama. And for our first story, my fiancé and I kicked his mom off our wedding guest list. Now we are being shunned by his family. How can we minimize the damage? My fiancé, 26 male, and I, 26 female, have decided not to include his mother in our wedding for a number of reasons. Originally, he did not want her there, nor did I. But we agreed it would be too much drama to exclude her. She is a mom to 2 boys, including my fiancé, and has always had an inappropriate relationship with the 2 of them, though it is much worse with my fiancé. He is the younger one of the 2, and she constantly talks about how she doesn't want to lose her baby, and how she wishes she could have kept him a baby forever. I won't go into too much detail, but this resulted in her bullying me for the past 9 years I've been with my fiancé. Once we announced our engagement and started sending out invitations, his mother was hysterical. She started begging him to call off the wedding, claiming she couldn't take it at her old age, she is 59, and that lots of young couples are choosing not to hold a wedding these days. We can't really be sure yet, even though we've been together for 9 years. It's a waste of money, etc. Things got even worse when we told her there would not be a mother-son dance, and we didn't want her to have a major role in the wedding. She threatened not to come because it would be embarrassing for her, but she still RSVP'd for our wedding once we explained that we would not be calling it off. What caused us to back down and remove her from the guest list, though, was when she showed up to my bridal shower in her wedding dress. My mom had posted about my bridal shower on Facebook with open invites, so anyone who was close to our family was able to come, which was clearly a huge mistake. She had her wedding dress altered to be a bit shorter and fit her, after her body changed a little. Most of the guest list was my family, as there are not a lot of women in my fiancé's family, but his mom's sister and a couple of his female cousins had shown up. My mom politely asked her to leave, to which she refused and said I was a brat for wanting to be the only woman in her son's life. I was not wanting a big scene, so I let her stay. About an hour or so later, my fiancé came to drop me some flowers. It's a tradition in our family that the man, or whoever is having the bridal shower, surprises the bride with flowers at the shower. When he came in and saw his mother's outfit, he was furious. He told her he was embarrassed to be her son and told her she was no longer welcome at our wedding. She got upset and blamed me for this, saying I brainwashed him and that he never would have said something like that if not for me. Surprisingly to us, his aunt sided with his mom and said it was nice that his mom even decided to come at all after we had taken away her mother-son dance and asked her not to take a big role in the wedding. They both left, along with the cousins, as his aunt was their ride. Hours later, his mom blocked me on Facebook but posted, saying that we embarrassed her, that he was putting her in an uncomfortable spot by kicking her out of the wedding, and that she was very hurt. The aunt backed her up by saying we were abusive towards them, and they advised the rest of their family to drop out of the wedding. Following this, we got several emails from his family dropping the wedding. We expected his aunt to drop out, but so did his dad, both sets of grandparents, his cousins, and his family friends. Even his brother stepped down from being the best man and has told us that their family is telling him not to go at all. We could not believe how many people decided not to come. The wedding is only a month away, and we've paid for all of their meals and bought centerpieces for their tables. We don't know how to salvage this further. Now let's see what kind of advice the community is giving to Opie. One user says, "You can't fix this. She'll show up to the wedding in her wedding dress. She's going to show up anyway and throw a fit. Donate the leftover food to charity. Your fiancé is amazing because he saw what she did and responded to it. Get security for the wedding." And another person said, "Let them miss the wedding. It is money you would have spent anyway. Let people who want come. Those who do not, let them stay away. Donate the food to the homeless. Stand by your husband's side. He is a good man, and you are lucky to have such a brave man by your side. It is not something minor, uninviting your own mother to your own wedding. He did it for you. Be his infinite fountain of cheerfulness and happiness, not only today and the day of the wedding, but every day forward. It is possible his family will shun him for many years to come. Give him a new family, one that will never betray him or pick others instead of him. I wish you the best. This is an awful situation. You can only do so much." Should OP accept her mother-in-law's behavior and apologize to appease her, or should she stand her ground? Tell me your opinion in the comments. My wife, 37 female, and I, 38 male, want to adopt our teenage foster daughter, but my father-in-law, 64 male, is furious about it. My wife and I have two biological teenage sons, one older and one younger than our foster daughter. We have been fostering kids for many years, but the goal has always been to reunify the kids with their parents, which has happened successfully each time until now. 2 years ago, we took in our foster daughter, who is now in her mid-teens. She had been through a lot and was labeled as a troubled kid and not adoptable. I won't go into details, but the issue in this matter is that there are images of her going around amongst a certain community from before we took her in. We were informed by authorities about all of this before, so it's not like this came as a surprise after we got to know her. I'm not going to lie, it has not been easy. Our families have seen us struggle, but almost everyone has been super supportive. The first 5 to 6 months were the hardest. She didn't trust us, and she was angry at the world, rightfully so. Then one random night I got up in the middle of the night and unintentionally ended up scaring her, and she had a full-blown panic attack. She was okay after a little while, but it was like something clicked for her that night. It was like she realized that we were on her side, and we watched her change from this angry and sad little girl to the ambitious young teenager we know today. It started with her telling us that she is thankful for everything we did, even small things like driving her to practice. And she said it with a smile on her face. It was so amazing to see her feeling better and not so lonely anymore. From there, everything changed. She made new friends and got a lot closer to my sons, especially the older one. Her grades went from failing multiple classes to getting straight A's. Not because we were nagging her, but because she wanted to. Each member of our household has developed a good and strong relationship with her, and the love we have for this girl cannot be put into words. We've reached that cosmic connection. She still struggles with a few things, which is totally fair after all she's been through, but she is working on it, and we are supporting her in every way we can. Overall, she's doing amazing. She's so strong, and I'm very proud of her. We made the decision to fight the system to change their verdict from not adoptable to available for conditional adoption, because we want to commit to her for life. We want to adopt her. Last month we got the call that they changed their verdict, and we sent in our papers that were already ready, and things are looking very promising. The thing is, we haven't told her yet. She knows that she is now adoptable, but we haven't asked her if she wants us to officially adopt her yet. My wife and I have talked to our sons about it, and they are fully on board. We talked to my parents, our brothers and sisters, and their spouses. All of them have a good relationship with our daughter, and every single one of them is so supportive of our decision and willing to fully welcome our daughter into our family. Then there are my wife's parents. My mother-in-law hasn't been awful, I guess, but maybe it's because I'm comparing what she said to what father-in-law said. We told them about our plan and asked them for their opinion. Mother-in-law asked if we were sure, as our daughter doesn't quite fit in. My wife and I didn't understand at all since our daughter has a very similar personality as we and our sons do. But it turns out she's concerned about the visual side of it, as she's clearly not our biological child, and people will start asking questions. The thing is, my wife, myself, and our sons are very tall. Our daughter is not. She is tiny compared to us and has a similar eye color, but not the exact same. All 5 of us have the same skin tone and colored and textured hair. Not that I think this matters at all, but the stupidity of it is unreal. Apart from her height, she could pass as our biological daughter, so I'm starting to think this is a lame excuse for something else. I told her that people would ask questions no matter what, because even if our daughter was the spitting image of my wife, it's not like she suddenly gave birth to a teenager 2 years ago. And the answer to any question is very simple. She's adopted. It's not like it could ever become a secret now, so I don't get it. Mother-in-law didn't say much after that, but it was very clear she was not on board. Father-in-law hadn't said anything, but he didn't seem excited at all. I asked for his opinion, and he just stared at us for a minute, and then he said, "Don't do this to yourself and our family." It's safe to say I was confused, but I had no idea what to say. After a few more seconds, he went off. He started talking about their family name, and he didn't want that ruined by a little witch, and what would people think if they saw these images floating around on the internet? I was stunned. My wife couldn't find any words either and started crying before she just left. I didn't say a word while father-in-law finished ranting, but 1,000 thoughts went through my head. Eventually he stopped talking, and I still had trouble finding any words to say. I just told him, "You are a sick person," and I left too. My wife is destroyed after hearing what her father thinks about our daughter. We have no idea how they know about these images, as we haven't told anyone about them. I'm 100% certain my wife didn't tell them, as their relationship is not that great. My wife is closer to my mother than her own, so that wouldn't make sense. We have tried to hide this from the kids since this happened, but my older son sensed something was very wrong and asked about it. I told him our conversation with our in-laws about adopting our daughter didn't go very well, and they weren't supportive. He wanted to know why. I told him I couldn't tell him, but that it was serious, and I promised to talk to him about it in a few years when he's an adult. And I assured him that our daughter didn't do anything wrong, that our plans haven't changed, and that it's father-in-law who is being unreasonable. My son told me that our daughter told him a few months ago that she didn't think our in-laws liked her very much, especially father-in-law. This happened 2 days ago, and we haven't spoken to them since. I'm not sure I even want to try, to be honest. For me, this is not contact-worthy. I want nothing to do with them. My wife is in pieces and has mentioned that she doesn't want them in her life after this. This has tainted our adoption experience, for sure. I'm afraid, though, that if we piss father-in-law off even more, he will start talking to our family about these images. I do realize that he will look like a pig in everyone's eyes, but I would like to spare our daughter from everyone knowing about what's out there. I usually talk to my mother about heavy stuff in life, but I cannot talk to her about this without feeling like I'm exposing my daughter by telling her more than I want to, for my daughter's sake. Internet strangers, I have no idea what to do from here. How do I go about the situation with father-in-law without creating more mess than is absolutely necessary? Edit to add. Just to be very clear, there's no doubt in our minds that we still want to ask for our daughter's permission to adopt her. Our relationship with our daughter will not change, no matter what father-in-law does or does not do. I realized from the first couple of comments that it became unclear after the father-in-law incident. Sorry about that. Now let's see some comments. Someone says, "I am going to ask a dark question here. If neither you nor your wife told him, and you don't know how he knows, is there any chance he found them himself? In which case, that's a whole other reason to go without contact." My question also stems from his attitude toward this. She is still a child, and he doesn't see her as a child and a victim, worthy of compassion, but rather as an adult being and promiscuous. That's not normal. That's scary. You need to protect your daughter from further abuse, and at the very least he may emotionally or verbally harm her, so cutting him out is the only way forward. But I would potentially ask him the questions I have asked you, and pointedly tell him that if he embarrasses your daughter by running his mouth, you will tell everyone you know that he found that information out by himself, and that you have made no contact because you dread to think what else is on his hard drive. That should keep him quiet. What do you think Opie should do to protect his daughter and keep her safe? And our next story is, my wife needs me to repeat back to her everything she says. How can I show her I'm listening? If we are having an argument, my wife, 29 female, requires that I, 32 male, essentially paraphrase her previous message before I can respond with my own perspective. If I don't do this, then she refuses to listen to anything I have to say. We've been together for 6 years. I've only recently begun to paraphrase her perspective before responding with my own. It's a trying exercise. This morning we were in an argument, and I started by saying, "I hear you," and then began to reply with my perspective. She told me that saying, "I hear you," is not good enough. She insisted that I was not listening or catching her points. She got so frustrated with me, she wouldn't even let me speak. She doesn't trust that I am listening, and the only way to convince her that she's been heard is by agonizingly paraphrasing what she has just told me, word by word. I know that she never felt listened to as a kid, and that is clearly playing a hand. This morning, she told me she doesn't know how much longer she can do this if I am unable to show her I'm listening. It's humiliating to feel like I'm a parrot. I could use some thoughtful perspective. How should I respond to this behavior? And someone responded like this: "I'm guessing she's having you do this because you are already working on a counterargument and aren't fully understanding what she is trying to talk about. It's less about being a parrot and more about making sure the communication is correctly interpreted." For the next story, a sad twist for Opie and her boyfriend. My boyfriend unknowingly sent me the dashcam footage of my brother's death. My 21 female boyfriend, John, 23 male, and I have been together for just over a year. He sends me a lot of reels and TikToks of questionable quality, but nothing has affected me as much as this. For years ago, my brother passed away in a car accident. He died on impact. It was horrific. And I was even more traumatized after some dashcam footage from another car was posted online showing my brother's accident. I've seen the video more times than I can count, as people in my school started a joke about sending it to people as a prank. John is super into cars and bikes and has told me he regularly gets car or bike crash videos on his Instagram reels. At the beginning of our relationship, he would send me videos of bikers falling off their bikes, but ultimately no one was harmed. In recent weeks, his reels and memes have taken a bad turn. It started to feel like I'm in a Discord group. He would send me videos of people being injured and would then respond to them, saying, "Oops, don't watch this. You don't want to watch a child be hit by a motorbike. She lives though." I told him I didn't find these funny or interesting. Well, a few weeks ago, he sent me a video, and you can probably guess where this is going. That turned out to be that dashcam footage of my brother's fatal car crash. I just sent a text saying, "Duck you. Don't talk to me until I'm ready," and didn't respond for 3 days. I fell into a depressive funk, and John kept texting and calling me. I eventually told him that he sent me the footage of my brother dying. He started to apologize profusely, but I don't know what to do. The video has upwards of 16,000 likes, with those stupid Instagram reel comments making fun of it. I was doing so well, and now I'm back to square one. He's been trying to rectify the situation, but I don't know what to do. Are we over? I wholly believe he wouldn't have sent it to me if he knew it was my brother, but I can't get over the fact he sent it anyway. How do I move on? Let's see the comments. How long have you been dating? Does he know how your brother passed before you told him that was your brother? If he knew your story before you dated, or before he started sending these, he is a sadist. Anyone knowing your brother died traumatically like that would never send any type of crash video, especially ones where people could or obviously were hurt. The first videos were to push your boundaries. As soon as he didn't get the reaction from accidents where people were fine, he started sending more until he found your brothers. Please don't get back with this guy. No one is this obtuse. But if you have only been dating for a month or less and you haven't mentioned it, and he doesn't live in the same area, you should have told him when the first video popped up. But I have a feeling that is not the case since he was sending videos and then saying, "Don't look." And Opie responds, "I'll add it to the post. It totally slipped my mind. But we've been together for 9 months, and he knows about my brother's death because I expressed concern when he told me he loved driving fast and riding his bike to blow off steam. Thank you for your advice. It means a lot." And for our last story, my 33 male wife, 36 female, has not been honest about her relationship with her friend. Would I be foolish to end our 10-year marriage over this? Throwaway since she follows my main account. During the pandemic, my wife and I hit a rough spot in our marriage over the course of a couple months. We were together for about 14 years at this point, married for 7 of those. We almost called it quits when I learned that she was having an emotional, and possibly more, affair with one of her gaming friends. He lives on the other side of the country, and as far as I know, they have never met in person. They were spending a great deal of time together, especially after I had gone to sleep. The nature of their relationship changed from gaming together to watching movies together to eventually just chatting together on video calls and likely performing intimate acts together over the webcam. At the time, I confronted her about her relationship. It was obvious to see they were spending a ton of time together, and she repeatedly told me it was just a platonic friendship and nothing more. After this went on for a few months, she left her game open, and I could see the chat log between them. I'm usually not the type to go through my wife's stuff, but a few months of growing suspicion got the better of me. In their chat logs, I saw they were much closer than she had led me to believe, and there were a few instances of her saying she loved him, and not in a platonic way. I confronted her about the messages and their relationship, and we had a few nights of soul-searching. We were very, very close to ending it, but we decided to try and give it another shot. She finally fessed up, showed what I thought was genuine remorse, and seemed to be very genuine about wanting to earn my trust back. It was rocky at first, But eventually things got back to how they were before the pandemic. Our marriage was great again. We feel like a team again. Our intimate life is back to normal, and we're enjoying each other's company. She is an amazing mom to our high-needs daughter. I think we are both still prone to depression and anxiety, but we've helped each other navigate back to a healthy home life. Then, a few months ago, she started playing that game again. At first, she wasn't playing directly with her old emotional affair partner, but he was in the same circles. She also plays with her brothers, who are friends with that guy, so he was never too far away. I voiced my concern that it is not okay with me for them to have a relationship, that this would be a betrayal of trust from my point of view. She characterized their relationship as he would always be around in the background and on the sidelines, since he was close with her brother and their mutual friends, but she wasn't planning on interacting with him aside from saying hello and goodbye. Obviously, this made me really uneasy, but I don't think being overbearing and saying, "You can't play those games anymore if he's there," is a healthy reaction. So I shrugged it off. And for what it's worth, we are spending much more time together, and I know she isn't doing the same things as before. Earlier in the week, it was his birthday, which for some reason was on our family calendar, probably a holdover from when they were good friends. As I was going through our finances, unrelated to the above, I just do this periodically to make sure we can move the money around to pay for everything. I noticed she sent a gift to that guy in the game she is playing. She doesn't know that I know about the gift yet, and I feel very conflicted. Obviously, I see this as a huge betrayal of trust and potentially the end of our relationship. The fact that she continuously downplays the nature of their relationship tells me that she still has feelings for this guy. Part of me is also wondering if I'm blowing this out of proportion. Is this something still salvageable through couples counseling? Do I even think I can trust her? I feel like I'm in an overwhelming headspace, and it's hard for me to think rationally. Would I be foolish to end our 10-year marriage over this without pursuing other avenues? What should I do? That's all for today's video. If you like this content, please give a like and subscribe to the channel.